Many people over 60 think they're doing everything right, eating a balanced diet, storing food properly, even avoiding junk food. But what if the real danger isn't what's on your plate, but how it gets there? You could be washing your vegetables, cooking your meat thoroughly, and even using fresh ingredients, but still getting food poisoning, feeling strangely tired or lightheaded. The truth is, your kitchen could be working against you. It's not because you're being careless. It's not because you're being careless. But habits so small, so normal, that they often go unnoticed for decades. After age 60, even the smallest kitchen mistake can introduce bacteria into your bloodstream, causing inflammation or weakening your digestive system. So today, let's expose 6 common kitchen habits that can silently make older adults sick, without them even realizing it. Starting with one of the most overlooked risks. 1. Cross-contamination. The invisible danger hiding on your counter. You wash your vegetables. You cook your meat thoroughly. So why do you still get sick? Here's a kitchen secret that most people overlook. It's not the food. It's the invisible path germs take in your kitchen. You cut raw chicken on a wooden cutting board, then slice tomatoes on the same surface. You don't see any stains, but bacteria don't need stains. All they need is a little film of water, and your sandwich becomes their highway. Let me help you understand. Cross-contamination happens when bacteria from raw meat, like Salmonella or E. coli, spread to ready-to-eat foods. And after age 60, your immune system isn't what it used to be. Even a small exposure can lead to days of diarrhea, vomiting, or worse, a hospital stay. Still feeling fine? That's the catch. It doesn't strike right away. These bacteria work silently, waiting for hours, even days, before your body shows signs. And the worst part? Many older people think they've always done it. But age changes everything, including your ability to fight off disease. There's no need to panic. Just make one small change. Use separate cutting boards for meat and vegetables. Separate them by color. Label them. And wash them with hot soapy water for at least 20 seconds. Don't forget to thoroughly wash your hands with soap and warm water for at least 20 seconds after handling raw meat, poultry, or seafood. If this first habit surprises you, comment 1 below so others don't make the same mistake. 2. Your old cutting board may be quietly hurting your gut. That cutting board has been with you for years. It's been through holidays, Sunday dinners, and even your signature chili. But here's the truth. It may not be your friend anymore. Tell me, have you ever looked closely at those knife grooves? They're more than just scratches. They're cozy little homes for dangerous bacteria. Let me explain. Over time, the deep cuts in plastic or wooden cutting boards trap moisture and food particles. And when not cleaned properly, they become breeding grounds for bacteria like Listeria and E. coli kind that don't cause immediate problems but can silently cause stomach aches, gas, or diarrhea days later. And here's the kicker. After age 60, your digestive system slows down. Your body isn't as quick to kill invaders as it once was. That means what you thought was a stomach flu could be a deeper problem, and more serious. This doesn't mean you're being careless. It means you've been clinging to a kitchen utensil that stopped serving you years ago. Here's what you can do instead. Well, examine your cutting board under the light. If you see deep grooves or stains that won't come off, it's time to toss it. Replace it with a new, non-porous one, and always scrub it with hot, soapy water after each use. Don't just rinse it. For wooden cutting boards with deep cuts, replacement may be the safer option. If this second habit has you rethinking your kitchen, comment below so others can reconsider their cutting boards too. Let's pause for a moment. If you've been using that same cutting board for years, you're not alone. It's what many of us grew up doing. This isn't about blame. It's about learning what our bodies need as they change. And sometimes, the tiniest shift, like replacing an old board, can prevent a bigger problem later. Now that you're thinking differently about surfaces, let's look at what happens inside the food itself. Ready? 3. Your food looks cooked, but your body knows otherwise. You cut into the chicken, it's golden brown, delicious, and the juices run clear. So you eat it. But the next morning, you're weak, dizzy, and have been to the bathroom more than you've been to bed. What happened? Let me help you understand this. Just because a food looks cooked doesn't mean it's safe. Meat, especially poultry and ground beef, often harbors live bacteria, unless it's cooked to the correct internal temperature. That's why the USDA recommends that poultry be cooked to 165 DEGF, 74 DEGC, ground beef to 160 DEGF, 71 DEGC, and whole meat to 145 DEGF, 63 DEGC, and then rested for 3 minutes. After age 60, this isn't just a guideline, it's a health rule. Older people are slower to process infections. A mild case of food poisoning in a young person can turn into dehydration, kidney problems, or hospitalization in an older person. Still not convinced? Campylobacter and E. coli are usually odorless and invisible. They don't announce themselves. They're waiting in that undercooked morsel, and then multiplying. Don't rely on guesswork or color. Trust the thermometer. Here's what to do. Keep a digital meat thermometer nearby. Insert it into the thickest part of the meat, not near bone or fat. And wait. A few seconds of checking can save you from days of pain, or even a hospital stay. If this third habit is an eye-opener, comment 3 below. This could save someone's dinner or life. 4. That 1 hour on the counter? It might have been 1 hour too long. You finish dinner, it's late. You leave leftovers on the stove while you chat or clean up. You'll put them away just a little later. Sound familiar? Let me break it down. Bacteria thrive between 40 and 140 degrees Fahrenheit, 4 and 60 degrees Celsius, what experts call the danger zone. Leftovers left out at room temperature for more than 2 hours, or just 1 hour on a hot day, give microorganisms like staph or Bacillus cereus plenty of time to multiply. Why is this even more important after 60? Because your immune system doesn't bounce back as quickly as it used to. A stomachache can lead to dehydration. Mild fatigue can signal something deeper. And it often comes without warning, from food that looks, smells, and tastes completely normal. Still think it's no big deal? Many cases of food poisoning don't start with spoiled food, they start with forgotten food. But don't worry, there's a simple solution. As soon as you've finished eating, transfer your leftovers to a shallow, airtight container and refrigerate them within 2 hours. Set a reminder if necessary. It's not about perfection, it's about being careful. You've got your cutting board under control. You've got your thermometer. Now, make your refrigerator your ally. If this fourth habit makes you rethink your after-dinner routine, comment 4 below. Someone might thank you. 5. Thawing food on the counter. isn't old-fashioned, it's dangerous. You wake up early. You take out the frozen chicken and leave it on the counter. That's what your mom did. That's what you've done for decades. But times have changed, and so have your bodies. Let me help you understand. When frozen meat is left at room temperature, the outer layer thaws faster than the inner layer. That outer layer? It quickly reaches 40 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit, 4 to 21 degrees Celsius, the perfect breeding ground for bacteria like Salmonella or Clostridium perfringens. And after age 60, your body may not detect those invaders until it's too late. A simple off feeling, joint pain, or the urge to go to the bathroom may be the first sign. It's not because of age, it's because of bacteria multiplying silently during the thawing process. Still think it's harmless? According to the CDC, thawing at room temperature is one of the top kitchen mistakes that lead to foodborne illness. Here's the twist. Trade tradition for safety. Use your refrigerator to thaw overnight. Or, if you're short on time, place food in a sealed bag and submerge it in cold water, changing the water for 30 minutes. Even better? Only thaw in the microwave if you're going to cook it right away. You've worked hard to eat healthy. Don't let a thawing shortcut ruin it. If this fifth habit reminds you of something you've been doing for years, comment 5 below and pass this knowledge on to others. We've all followed old habits, thinking they were harmless, like thawing meat on the counter. And you're not wrong for trusting what worked in the past. But your body today needs a little more care than it did at 40. Now that we've looked at how time and temperature quietly let bacteria grow, let's talk about another trap when food seems fine, but your senses no longer tell the full story. 6. Just because it smells fine doesn't mean it's safe. You open the fridge. That slice of ham looks fine. No strange odor. No green mold. You heat it up and eat it. Well, you're wrong. That night, nausea, bloating, restless sleep. You wonder, do I have a virus? Probably not. Maybe your senses just didn't warn you, because they couldn't. Let me help you understand. As we age, our sense of smell and taste naturally become less acute. And the bad news? Most dangerous bacteria don't look, smell, or taste bad. Listeria, botulism, and other pathogens can lurk in foods that look perfectly normalis, especially deli meats, soft cheeses, leftovers, and even canned goods. After age 60, the body's internal defenses weaken. That means a bad slice of turkey can cause more than just bloating. It can cause fever, vomiting, or even hospitalization, and you won't even know where it came from. Still trusting your nose? You shouldn't, not anymore. Here's the safer route. If a food item is past its expiration date, throw it out. If it's been open for more than 3 days, or perishables, and isn't properly sealed, throw it out. If it looks weird or has a slimy texture, don't risk it. You deserve to eat with confidence, not worry. If this 6th habit has you rethinking your fridge, comment 6 below and tag someone who still smells before throwing it out. We grew up trusting our senses. If it smelled fine, we ate it. If it looked cooked, we served it without a second thought. And for most of our lives, that worked. Our bodies were resilient. We could shrug off a little stomachache or brush off a sleepless night. But things change. After 60, everything slows down: our digestion, our immune response, even our ability to detect warning signs. The same habits that once felt harmless might now be quietly working against us. That cutting board we've used for years, the food we leave out just for a bit, or the way we thaw meat on the counter, these aren't mistakes. They're memories, routines, comforts. But your body today is not the same as it was at 40. And the truth is, what kept you safe then might not be enough now. This isn't about guilt. It's about gentle awareness, a moment to pause and ask, are my old habits still serving me? Because what was once true might no longer be true anymore. So if any of these habits felt uncomfortably familiar, take a breath. You're not alone. These routines didn't come from carelessness. They came from love, tradition, and years of doing what we thought was right. No one taught us that a spotless kitchen could still hide risks, or that our senses would one day stop warning us the way they used to. But now we know, and knowing is not about fear, it's about power. You don't have to change everything overnight, just one small shift at a time. A new cutting board, a food thermometer by the stove, putting leftovers away a little sooner. These aren't grand gestures, but for a body that's aging, they matter. They protect, they prevent, and they remind us that health isn't just in what we eat, but in how we handle it. So whether you're cooking for yourself or still making meals for your children or grandkids, let the kitchen remain a place of joy, not of hidden harm. You deserve to feel safe in the heart of your home, and if this message made you pause, even just once, maybe it's already done something good. Share it with someone you love, and comment below if one of these 6 habits surprised you. Just type the number. Because your small story might be the wake-up call someone else needs.